Hey guys, a long time no see. Apologies for the lack of videos on this channel. I've just honestly been super busy, but I've been seeing some comments circulating, quite a number of them actually, suggesting that I've just sold out of all my positions and I've done a bit of a runner because I've made no content. That's not the case at all. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. I wanted to make a video talking about what I'm currently seeing with my two largest positions in my portfolio, which of course are Tesla and Palantir. Where I'm at with them currently, a bit of a catch-up video, I suppose, because so much has happened since I last sat down and made a YouTube video. So I'm going to kind of go through the main things for each stock, and I will include timestamps in the description in case you're only interested in Palantir or you're only interested in Tesla. So do use those if that is the case. But we'll start with Tesla first, because in the last few days, Tesla's been getting a hell of a lot of attention, and I think for good reason. You know, the stock's been going crazy. But I won't jump ahead, let's start from the beginning, I guess. Honestly, this deserves an entire video of its own because so much has happened and it's been a while since I've spoken about Tesla, like I said. But let me just briefly say what I've been seeing, what I've been noticing about this company and about the stock and about the sentiment as a whole with Tesla. So we had the We Robot event. The 10th of the 10th event, the robo-taxi event that was originally going to be in August and then was delayed. You know, that really highly anticipated event, which feels like it happened a long time ago now. I don't know why, it wasn't that long ago at all. This year's just passing so fast. Now, I thought that event was pretty great. Sure, there were some things there that I'd like expanded more, and there were some things that maybe I thought were going to be something that they weren't. But all in all, I was, as an investor and onlooker to this event, I was really pleased. There were, however, again, as expected, and if you've been in Tesla for a while, you would have expected this as well, a lot of criticisms that came out following that event. Like I said, expected. But what I saw at a very high level from this event is that Tesla are actually working on bringing the two largest real-world AI projects to the table. And this wasn't just about Tesla launching a single product. It wasn't like a product launch as such. This was an entire shift in Tesla's business. This was them showcasing what they are doing on a global scale. This was about them scaling out and building their ecosystem and actually showcasing how everything is going to be working together in the future to completely change industries. Since that event, we then got a few more pieces of information that helped us add to our knowledge of what's actually going on here. Now, as far as I understand, if you attended the event, you got to see some things that people that were just watching the stream didn't get to see. But since the event, we've had information about the charging pad come out and information, a new Optimus video that gave us more insight. And this Optimus video showed autonomous navigation and shared learning between multiple robots. The video also showcased Optimus's ability to autonomously dock and undock for charging. It showed it carrying heavier loads and the ability to actually walk upstairs. And all of this was not tele-operated, and that was really important to see that, because that was a lot of the criticisms that came out after the We Robot event. And like I said, we also saw more information about how the robo-taxi fleet will actually go about charging. There's going to be a charging pad that the vehicle just drives over. It obviously remains stationary, it charged wirelessly, and there was some controversy about how efficient that will be in terms of heat transfer loss. It turns out it's going to be very efficient. We don't need to worry about that. But you know, all of this gives us a very good idea and shows us how autonomous the future is going to be when it comes to transportation. Think about the charging pad plus self-cleaning cars plus no drivers. It's really hard to wrap your head around, but I do think that Tesla is going to be the one to get there. Now, the stock, let's think back. The stock didn't reflect, in my opinion, how well the We Robot event went, and I wasn't expecting it to. In fact, as if memory serves me correctly here, the stock dropped in the days after this. You know, the majority of the market wasn't happy. At this point in time, I was adding more shares as and when I could, and I know a lot of people on the Discord were as well. But if we then fast forward to the earnings that have just happened, the complete opposite happened. People got the information that they so necessarily needed in order to buy more shares, and hey, look what happened to the stock price. Phenomenal. Absolutely crazy. Like, my portfolio switched overnight, and I've seen this happen before with Tesla. It does move in whatever direction very quickly. And that's what happened. So I just noted down some of my highlights from the earnings that I just want to read out here. So my highlights were that, they just quickly first, they beat EPS estimations, but they didn't beat revenue. However, revenue growth was still decent. But the highlights for me were that there was an estimation of between 20 and 30% vehicle growth, which is quite strong considering how the automotive industry has been recently and in the past. The affordable vehicle and new vehicles are still on track for the first half of 2025. Now that alone, I think, had a big impact into the stock after. The cash pile, Tesla's cash pile, is looking incredibly strong. This is a company that in the past were nearly bankrupt. Like, their amount of cash is incredible, and this is going to fund new projects that they're working on. Energy. Gross margins 30.5%. Like, this is a business on its own now. Honestly, it's incredible. And the operating margin as well overall had a fantastic year-over-year growth. So those were some of my highlights. Of course, there's many other things. And Elon also said that Tesla is focused on the future of energy, transport, robotics, and AI. And this is a time when others are focusing on managing near-term trends. So as always, Elon and the team are looking much further ahead, not just in the next 6 months, 1 year. And just looking at Forecaster here, actually, Forecaster thinks based on the discounted cash flow, the Peter Lynch and the economic value added method, that Tesla shares are currently 306% below the fair value. You can see that visually here as well over time. Now, I don't necessarily think that Tesla is 306% below fair value or anything like that. But what I would agree with is that Tesla is one of the most undervalued companies out there right now, considering what they are working on for the future. Another thing that I really like here is that we are seeing a low risk of bankruptcy. Like I said, in the past, Tesla has had times where they have very, very, very nearly become bankrupt. They are very strong now. Very, very strong. Massive cash pile. I just want to scroll down here as well. With the most recent earnings, what you can see is actually we're seeing a re-acceleration of the business. Things are now going in the right direction. Scrolling down to the revenue by products section, I want to point out here that, for a long time, the main driver of Tesla has been the automotive sales. They are still, this is from 2023, bear in mind, this is still the case, the majority, but this is changing very substantially over time. And I only give it maybe 5 years that this is not the case at all. And actually they're pulling in way more money because of the higher margins from other areas. So just looking at the chart here, we've had a massive increase recently given the earnings success, but we are still seeing that it is very, very decreased from all-time highs. So yes, it may feel uncomfortable to buy now, but am I buying now? Yes, I am. And if you're interested in trying Forecaster, you can for 7 days for absolutely no charge using my link in the description below. And if you like what you see, you can get a further 10% off with the code Hayley10 at checkout. Elon also said, and this is very interesting, do let me know if you agree with this, if Tesla can execute on their objectives, and he thinks they will, Tesla is still set to become the largest company in the world. And when you look at the projects that they're working on and the addressable market of these projects and how that could grow the company, I think that's plausible. I think it's definitely feasible. Now, overall, I was actually pretty surprised by the general media outlook after the earnings. Quite a lot of it was pretty, dare I say it, positive or at least neutral, which I, again, wasn't expecting. Very different to the We Robot event. Stock has driven up, gone up quite a lot since then. And, I still think that this was a fantastic earnings given the automotive segment as a whole and how that's been struggling recently. And Tesla very much at this point, with everything that's happened since my last video, aligns with my thesis as to why I originally purchased them. And because of all that, I will continue to add shares. This 20% increase or whatever it's been over the last few days doesn't put me off buying more shares. I still think this is one of the most undervalued companies out there. I think they have an incredible future. I will, like I just said, continue to add more. Now let's turn our attention to my other favorite position in my portfolio, which is of course Palantir. Now, I have been hearing a lot recently, people saying that the valuation for Palantir is now way too high and we shouldn't be buying at these current levels. And this is often argued by PE ratios or PS ratios, etc., etc. Now, we've actually heard this exact same argument at $10 per share, $12 per share, $20 per share, $25 per share, $32 per share. You know, you get my point here. We've heard it every step of the way. How can this stock possibly go higher? It's unthinkable that it could add more dollar to the stock price right now. And you know, we've heard it about a lot of other tech stocks as well recently. Think about Apple, think about Nvidia. We've heard the same arguments over and over again. Now, I'm not saying those arguments don't have any standing, you know, I'm not saying that they're not irrelevant or anything like that. It's just not quite the way that I'm seeing it right now. Here's where I am with it. Yes, the stock, Palantir stock, has run up very, very fast in a very short time frame. Like, it's done incredible. In fact, quite unthinkable if we think back to when I started buying it, or maybe you started buying it at $6, $7, $8 per share. I didn't think it would happen this fast. I don't think many people did. I believed it would happen, but maybe not this quickly. And yes, it could indeed pull back at any point. It could correct itself by 10%, 20%, but at the end of the day, the whole market could do that, and any other position could do that as well. Now, I'm still buying regularly, even at these current prices. And I'll tell you why. And this definitely won't be the case for everyone. And do you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate people taking profit. It was a very obvious time to take profit, in my opinion. I think people that did that were very smart. Take a little bit off the table, maybe hold that in cash, put it into any other positions, enjoy it, use it in their life. I didn't do that, but I have no problem with people doing that. You know, investing is a very subjective, a very personal thing. So I just think do what you need to do to make sense with your money. Like, we're all in this to make money at the end of the day. Anyway, I'm still buying because of, one, my time frame. Like, I am very much doing this for a number of years. I am not looking to have this money accessible to me for at least another 5 years, at least. Okay, so I'm now questioning, okay, do I think Palantir will be more valuable in the future than it is today? Yes, I do. That doesn't mean that it wouldn't be smart to harvest some profit, maybe 5%, whatever, and wait for a pullback or put that into another one of my positions. However, I've not done that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And number two, my second reason is I very much believe we are in early days for Palantir. Okay, there is a growing demand for AI. There's a growing understanding as well on top of that, that just having LLMs as an offering is very much becoming a commodity, and you need to have something as well as those LLMs to make those useful to a business, whether that's a commercial business or a government business. That's where the ontology comes in. There's also a shift happening that I've noticed, that you've probably noticed, from hardware to software. And this isn't just happening on the commercial side, this is also happening in the defense sector as well. For a long time, just taking the defense sector, it was very much about the hardware, about the physical pieces of equipment that could deter enemies. The fight is within data now. The fight is within software plus the hardware to supplement that. And that's the same thing in the commercial segment as well. The shift from hardware to software. Also, Palantir, of course, has those long-standing, very, very sticky government contracts, and it has scalable foundational software. I've made an entire video kind of recently about that, and there's high retention, high customer expansion. Customers have been working with Palantir on like having Foundry, they now want AIP. This is very, very something that we're seeing happen very often. The list goes on. You guys know why I'm bullish on Palantir. And in fact, this whole idea of being early, I saw a post on X, I was about to say a tweet then, I saw a post on X from Arnie, who you should all absolutely be following for great Palantir analysis and information. And I'll put it on the screen now. So he said, Palantir shares held by top tech investors. And he's shown here, included in the Scottish Mortgage Trust, that didn't come out of my mouth very nicely there, 0. The point is, we are early. Yes, institutional ownership and the big money are coming into Palantir now, especially given the S&P 500 inclusion. But guys, we are honestly so early. The Palantir DPO didn't happen that long ago. Although it feels like everything's moving very quickly, there is going to be many, many years left in this business. But let's just celebrate our successes along the way, because the Palantir community has seen it all. And honestly, what a fantastic community it is. Yesterday on Friday, Palantir stock closed at all-time highs. I think the figure was $44.86. And this meant that Palantir hit a market cap of over $100 billion. Like, this is crazy. This is a company that was hated on. This is a company that was a spy company that was never going anywhere, that was never going to be included in the index, that was never going to be gap profitable. Speaking of which, the other day, Palantir and L3 Harris announced a new partnership. And I quote, "This was to propel advanced technology development and accelerate L3 Harris's digital transformation." They're going to be combining Palantir's AIP with L3 Harris's sensor and software-defined systems, and this collaboration really aims to support the US Army programs and expand capabilities in AI-driven defense technology, enhancing situational awareness and target identification. Now, the CEO, along with Karp, went on CNBC. I think it was yesterday or maybe Thursday, and amongst other really important stuff, which please watch the whole entire interview, it's a great thing for Palantir investors to watch, but alongside all of that good stuff, Karp said this, and I want to get this quote accurate, so let me read it to you. "People have been saying we are overvalued for 20 years. People have been saying our products wouldn't make us profitable, that we would not be able to become a juggernaut, that we would not become gap profitable, that we wouldn't get into the S&P. Keep saying that about us. We love it. It discourages people from doing anything like what we're doing. And we are winning." Karp is one of these unapologetic founders and leaders. He is a CEO a bit like Elon Musk. And in my opinion, these are the right people at the right time to drive these transformational companies forward. Do let me know what you're doing with your Tesla shares and your Palantir shares right now. Are you buying more? Are you maybe selling a little bit, taking some profit off the table? Or are you putting that money into a completely different position? Let me know in the comments below. And if you do want to try Forecaster, use the link in the description below. That link will allow you to try it for 7 days free of charge. And if you like what you see, you can get a further 10% off using the code Hayley10 at checkout. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this video. I do appreciate all of your comments and all of your support, and I'll see you in the next one.